Hey everyone, this is Matt Perez, and in this video I want to cover the Extrude Cut. Now we've already talked about the Extrude and a lot of different options you have in there, and for the most part Extrude Cut is going to follow along those same lines. So I'm not going to recover the same information, but I do want to talk about some small differences that are between the two features. So to get started, I'm going to start a new sketch on my front plane, and again I'm just going to use a center point rectangle, not too concerned with sizes, and finish the sketch. So now with our sketch, I'm going to go to my Extrude Cut and select the sketch to use for my feature. Now, the main differences I want to talk about inside of here are going to be some of the end condition features. When you use from, you get the exact same options: sketch plane, surface, offset, vertex, and there's really nothing different about them here. Where you start to get differences is going from the blind end condition and dropping down. You'll notice that you have a few different options that you didn't have inside of the Boss Base Extrude. So in the past couple versions of SOLIDWORKS, 2015 and I believe 2016 are the first two, you have a through all both. In the past you had to do through all and then select direction 2 and do through all, but now this through all both grabs both of the direction 1 and direction 2 options automatically. You can still do a thin feature inside here, which can be pretty handy if you want to cut away material and leave a small window here. In this case, we're going to turn that off. And we also have some other end condition options I want to talk about. So I'm going to turn off direction 2, and inside of here I want to talk about up to next and then offset from surface. So inside here, if we say up to next, it's going to cut through the first solid body it sees and end on the outside of the part. So that looks a little bit different than through all. So you see through all carries the rectangular shape and goes all the way through the part and ends. But when we say up to next, it's going to take it directly to this face and end the feature. So that way, if you had multiple bodies, multiple sections inside of your body, then it's going to end at the first one. And the other thing I want to talk about inside here is going to be offset from surface. Now, we did this initially when we did the solid extrude. We talked about offset from surface, and it all made a whole lot of sense. But when you're dealing with a extrude cut, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to make a little bit more sense to you. So to do this, I want to first start by either offsetting or starting from a face. Now you'll notice that inside here, when we select a face to start with, it's not really liking it, and that's because we already have offset surface selected. So we need to go to a blind end condition and tell it to start from this face. And you'll notice that what's happening is, even though the selection's valid here, it's not allowing us to select it on the fly. Sometimes this happens, the features get locked, and you'll have to go back out and start again. So we're going to change the from to surface, select the outside face, and now you see it looks a little bit different. It's got the arc inside of here, which is essentially the outside of this face, because it doesn't know which direction that we want to start. So if we flip the direction around, you can see it looks a little bit different. This is a little bit of a tricky example because we are dealing with a cylinder and the single face goes all the way around the part. It gets a little confused from time to time. But the important thing is we're starting from this face, and the end condition is going to be offset from face. So the face we want to select is, again, this outside face, and we're going to just do 2 millimeters. So what this allows us to do is cut away a small chunk, and we can translate the surface, or we can do an offset of the surface and say okay. And now we're able to cut away just a small little piece of it. Now there are some things that do cause problems inside here. When you start to use the from surface and offset from surface options, you no longer can add a draft. So if you need to have something similar to this and apply draft to it, you will have to do that on the other feature. You need to use draft feature, or you need to get a little bit more creative to do it. But it is a very handy way that you can do things like take a small section, a small cut section out of a part. Because if we look at a section view here, let's go ahead and cut through it this way. You can see what we've done is we've essentially made that small pocket in it simply by using a 2D sketch on one of our planes. So that's going to be the main difference between doing a solid extrude and doing an extrude cut. It's really going to come down to the different end condition options that you have and how you like to play with them. Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and would love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts or suggestions for other videos in the comment box below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit LearnSOLIDWORKS.com for more SOLIDWORKS tips, tricks, and tutorials.